Good Monday morning, everybody. Hope you are all doing well. Forecaster Josiah Acheampong here. We're just going to go around the horn looking at temperatures this morning. It's a not that bad of a start. Temperatures are in the 60s for many locations, couple 50s sprinkled in there, 57 in Clayton, 54 for Tucumcari, 59 for Tulia, but a pair of sixes for Perryton and Borger at this hour, and 63 for Amarillo. Now, as we go through the rest of as we go throughout the morning, so not just the temperatures, it's also the fact that um, we're also dealing with lowered visibility. That's a problem across the area. Now, as we put our model into our looking at the sky cam rather in Bushland, typically from this angle, we're able to see downtown Amarillo, I-40, along this sky cam. But unfortunately, with how dense the fog is, you're seeing much of nothing. And while this is a little bit off the ground, you're not seeing much in terms of the actual ground. Now, taking a look in Clarendon, we also see the lowered visibility, the fog being an issue. People commuting, heading into work, drop off for school. It's going to be a challenge out there. And our last sky cam is going to be Borger, where we also are seeing the the limited visibility in those low cloud covers being an issue as well. Taking a look at our visibility map, lots of red on here. You can see from Dumas, Hereford, Amarillo, down to Childress, we're dealing with very poor visibility across the Panhandles region. And it just so happens to be blanketed along I-40, one of the major travel hubs across the area, and even along I-27 and in 287, you're also dealing with those issues as well. So that's going to be an issue. And in fact, the National Weather Service has gone ahead and issued a dense fog advisory until 10 a.m. That includes portions of both Randall and Potter County, Deaf Smith County, stretching over into um, Collingsworth County and all the way up to Lipscomb, Ochiltree, and Hemp Hill counties as well. That'll last until 10 a.m. So for your morning commute, it's going to be a difficult one, especially depending on if you're going through pockets of those lowered visibilities where where travel will be a concern and an issue. So make sure you are practicing safe driving habits this morning as we contend with that. Temperatures though are going to rise as we get to later this morning when we can burn off the fog. When our temperatures will be able to skyrocket. Excuse me. Now, in terms of this evening, we have a severe storm threat. And in terms of timing, we'll start off with the lighter shade of gray. Those will be for areas that could see storms try and develop around 6 to 10 p.m. But then we'll have a northern batch that impacts portions of the Oklahoma Panhandle, especially the eastern half of portions of of Texas County and Beaver County, and some of our northeastern Panhandle counties as well. That'll last from 11 p.m. till 4 a.m. And in terms of the threats for the storms, it looks like they might have updated this recently because now Tucumcari, portions of eastern New Mexico, now have a marginal risk for some storms as well. Yeah, they definitely updated this. So let's break this down because it looks like they added a new marginal risk for portions of eastern New Mexico. That's portions of Curry, Quay, and Roosevelt counties. Looks like they also trimmed the slight risk for severe storms that was to our farther north and some of our northeastern counties. That seems to only include a sliver of Lipscomb and portions of rather Beaver County. And then the marginal risk also has been trimmed and shifted further northeastward, uh, now really only encompassing areas north and east, I would say, of 287 across the area. So looks like they're looking at different things. Let's go back so we can talk about the threats because with some of the strongest storms that managed to develop, we could be talking about golf ball sized hail, winds up to 70 miles an hour. And while the tornado threat is very low, the atmosphere is a little interesting because we do have enough shear for some development. Again, the threat is very, very low, but it just can't be entirely ruled out. And flooding remains a localized issue. Let's see what this looks like. Let's run our model as we go throughout this evening or this afternoon rather. We get the clearing temperatures quite mild, well above average, about 10 degrees or so. Then that's when we can get our first batch of storms make their way through portions of eastern New Mexico into the Panhandles region. This is about 11 o'clock or so. Now, heading into the overnight hours into the morning, we try and dry out, clear out, but then that's when we get a northerly breeze start pumping in. Now, our temperatures, though, will respond by only reaching the mid upper 70s, low 80s for a vast majority of us. But again, that all depends on how quick that cold front is pushing south and just how strong it will be. Now, in terms of tomorrow evening, we will have some showers and storms trying to make their way. Ooh, excuse me. It's a Monday for sure. Slow start. In terms of Tuesday, we'll have some showers and storms try to develop, make their way through the region around. This is around 11 o'clock or so. Those will fizzle out heading into the overnight hours. Our lows could dip into the 40s and 50s across the area. It's going to be a cool evening, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. So you're probably going to want to grab that light sweater before you head out the door because their highs are going to be stunted, only reaching the low to mid 70s across the area. Now, our next weather maker, it's going to be the temperatures. So by the time we get to midweek, cooler than average conditions. But the good news is we'll have a ridge develop in the middle of the country, and that will help support less rainfall and warming conditions as we get to the end of the week. As we take a look at our highs for today, many of us again in the 90s, 92 expected for Amarillo, 94 for Hereford, and 97 in Paducah, approaching the triple digits uh, down there, although we'll fall short. Tonight, dipping into the 50s and 60s, likely dealing with some thunderstorms across the area again, some of which could be severe. We try and clear out, but temperatures though are going to only reach the upper to mid 70s across the area, with a couple of 80s sprinkled in there for areas I would say south and east of I 40 as well. Taking a look at our 7 day tracker, we're hot today, honestly. Temperatures about 10 degrees above average as we usher in fall. Scattered storms likely later this evening. Tuesday, can't rule out some additional storms, but you can see many of our temperatures will take a 5 to 15 degree dip in terms of their temperatures for tomorrow. But then we get even colder on Wednesday, only staying in the 60s and 70s for many locations before trying to warm up and dry out by the end of the week. Now, I hope you all are staying safe, driving with caution. And again, for this evening storms, make sure you're having two ways of getting alerts, making sure your devices are charged, and making sure that your notifications are on this evening. This isn't a night to have a do not disturb on or anything like that, especially if we do get a feisty storm that pops through the cap and decides it wants to be feisty.